for him to be here and supporting this event. I mean, it's his idea, and for him, we respect and understand how busy you are, Father, and the job that you have at Niagara. So for you to be here, it sends a huge message to our guys, and we want to thank you for being here. And Eddie O, can I call you that? Seriously, it's like, wow, NBC TV star, 16 years in the National Hockey League. We were lucky enough to have Eddie Olczyk Jr. here last year as an assistant coach, and although he was just here for one season, he left his mark here as an assistant coach. And Eddie, I know you're a proud dad. Just man, oh man, just a dedicated, passionate, classy man, Eddie Jr. So thank you for sharing him with Niagara Hockey. Also, I have a new staff. Had a busy summer, which everything turned out great. So I was lucky enough, lost 2 guys last spring, but was able to hire Michael Findorf. Mike, you want to give him a wave? Michael's originally from Colorado Springs. He was a defenseman on Miami of Ohio. I call it their best 4 years of their program's history. Michael played in 4 NCAA tournaments and the national championship game, and he's a defenseman. So Michael and his wife Tara, right next, we welcome you to Niagara. Thank you. And then Ethan Moreau. I think if you're a hockey fan, you know Ethan. Ethan played 15 years in the NHL. Was drafted by Chicago, played in Edmonton, had stops in LA and Columbus as well. We have a pre-existing relationship. My coaching job prior to coming to Niagara was in the Ontario Hockey League with the Niagara Falls Thunder, and I had the privilege and honor, and when I say this, to coach Ethan. Still to this day, I was a young coach, and he's the most dedicated player that I've ever had the luxury of coaching. So we reconnected over the summer, and he actually filled the spot. So I am so blessed to have both Ethan and Michael here, and we're going to do great things with the guys here as a staff and as a team. So thank you, guys. And next to Ethan is his wife, Ornella. So we welcome the Moreau family. So we have 6'6", 6'3", and 5'8". We're still the biggest staff in the country. So proud of these guys, and you should be too. What they do in the community, how they can conduct themselves on a daily basis, on and off the ice. I'm lucky just to be a part of it, and I thank you guys. And I know we've had a great month of September. We call it dry land training, but it's going to be an outstanding year, and we can't wait to watch you guys and everything that you're going to do and bring back to Niagara University. So thank you guys for all you do, and let's get after it Friday.
Folks, our keynote speaker, as mentioned, is Eddie Olczyk, 16-year NHL veteran and an NBC sports hockey analyst, a native of Chicago. He's the overall third selection in the 1984 draft, played with 6 NHL teams from 1984 to 2000, and was inducted into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, Eddie Olczyk.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. Great to be here. Berkey, I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to be here this evening, for giving my son Eddie, who laid his hockey helmet here for 1 year, but you gave him that opportunity. And I will be forever indebted for giving my son a chance to get to Division I hockey. So thank you very much. And that's what we do in the hockey world, right? Take care of one another. And he'll always be there for you, and the real Eddie Olczyk and the real Edzo will always be here for you as well. So thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it. It's a real pleasure to be here. I did play 16 years in the National Hockey League, made a lot of stops, a lot of travels along the way, Met a lot of tremendous people. Hockey's been my life. All I know is hockey. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I do know a little bit of something about the horses as well, but sorry, Father. But hockey's been my life. I actually met my wife on an airplane, my rookie year in the National Hockey League, and so-called the rest is history. We were telling stories a little bit earlier, and I think can speak to the older players on the team, is when I was a young player in the National Hockey League, I learned from the guys that came before me to go about being a professional both on the ice, and now I look back as I think an old guy now turning 50 a couple of weeks ago, of what it is like to be off the ice. And I had guys teach me the way it was to be a professional, and I tried to do that as I got older into my career. And when Chopper and I crossed paths in Chicago when he was a young guy, I always tried to take the young guys under my wing and have them over to the house and have a little barbecue. And I actually think that some of the young guys came over and were playing maybe football out in the yard with my two oldest boys, both Eddie and my son Tommy. But it's great to see Chopper here and on the staff with Berkey and also with Michael, who my son Eddie knows. So I wish you nothing but the best, and it's always great to see you. And he had a tremendous career. Anytime a guy can be a captain in the National Hockey League, I think Niagara University and the coaching staff is one. So I think a tremendous hire getting Ethan Maher to be a part of the Niagara family. So best of luck to you guys this year. People ask me all the time about playing in the National League, and I played in the 1984 Olympics for Team USA over in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia, as a 17-year-old young hockey player. We finished in 7th place in 1984. We finished in 7th place in 1984. Oh, didn't do that well, but we had the privilege of trying to follow in the footsteps of the 1980 Miracle on Ice team over in Lake Placid, which for me as a young kid growing up, being 13 years old and watching that unfold on television, made a huge impact on me and something that I dreamed about. And I thought maybe when I was an old guy, maybe when I was like 21, 22, I would get a chance to play in the Olympics. But I was lucky enough to make the Olympic team as a 16-year-old, play in the Olympics as a 17-year-old, and ended up getting drafted in the National Hockey League by the Chicago Blackhawks in 1984. Yes, I was the 3rd pick overall. People probably want to know who the 1st pick overall was that year. Yes, I think the Pittsburgh Penguins made the right decision in 1984. Mario Lemieux, I think we've all heard of him both on and off the ice. So yes, the Penguins made the right decision. But the one thing I am most proud of my whole career, both as an Olympian and as a National Hockey League player, is being a father of 4 children, 4 healthy young people. As we talked about, my son Eddie, my son Tommy, who spent 5 years at Penn State. I have a daughter that's going to be a senior at Alabama this year, graduating, and I have a young son Nick, who is supposed to go to Colorado College next year, and he's playing in a North American League. But being married to my wife for 28 years, it was the greatest gift I ever got as a man and as a professional. Is when I met my wife on an airplane my rookie year in the National Hockey League. But winning a Stanley Cup was the ultimate as a hockey player. It's what I played for. Just an amazing team. In 1994, the Rangers hadn't won a Stanley Cup in 54 years, which is really hard to believe. But to be a very small part of a team that won a championship, I thought I knew what it took to win, but until you actually win it, and you have really no idea how hard it is to attain it. So when I was a young kid, I had people telling me, I grew up in Chicago. I played in a lot of youth hockey tournaments, and I was a pretty good player, and I was pretty good in my area and traveled around. And they say, yeah, you're a good player, but until you go up and play against the big boys, we'll see how you are. I ended up leaving home when I was 15 years old, like I'm sure a lot of our Niagara players have done, and it's not easy living home. The commitment from my folks. When I left home, I made the commitment of playing in Stratford, Ontario, and then when I went to the Olympic team, I tried out as a member of the U.S. Olympic hockey team in 1984, and I was 16 years old when I tried out for that team. I was the youngest guy there. Very intimidating, and everybody told me, you'll never make it. You're a young guy. You're a kid from Chicago. You're not very fast. And Chopper can attest. We played together. I I was really, really not fast when it was at the end of my career. But I always believed that if somebody gave me an opportunity, and didn't matter what anybody said to me, didn't matter what the media said, didn't matter what maybe some parents said or other players said, is that I really felt that if I had the opportunity, I would take advantage of it. And when I got that opportunity to leave home from my folks and then get a chance to try out for the Olympic team, I ended up making the Olympic team. It was July 4th, 1983. They actually named the men's Olympic hockey team for 1984, and happened to be on the 4th of July, and then eventually play on the Olympic team and as a 17-year-old. But I think I learned a lot about myself as a young man growing up, of pursuing a dream. I didn't know how to get to the National Hockey League. I had no idea about a draft. I just loved playing the game. Sitting here at table 7 and just reminiscing about hockey and where the game has come over the course of years. It's an incredible teacher. Your coaches are teachers, guys. Like, if you think about it as a parent, if you were standing in the back room of your child's class and your child gave an answer and it was wrong, you would expect your teacher to correct your child, right? It's no different in the game of hockey. Coaches are teachers, and they're there to help you. There's lots of different ways to get from there to there. Lots of different ways to a forecheck on a PK. But for me, those challenges as a young guy and having that desire to not necessarily prove people wrong, but to live a dream and to work as hard as I could to make it to the National Hockey League was something that I still can't believe it happened. I was the first ever American-born native son to be drafted by his hometown team in the first round. So think about that. Out of all the American-born players that have played in the National Hockey League, I was the very first one ever to be born in a town that had a National Hockey League team and to be drafted by that team. And that's something that will never be surpassed. This last year, believe it or not, I held a record in the National Hockey League for U.S.-born players for 25 years. For the longest consecutive scoring streak by an American-born player in the National Hockey League. Had 18 games. It's still a shared record with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I scored it with the Leafs with Daryl Sittler. Some of our elder statesmen in here know who Daryl Sittler was. Some of our younger people know who Phil Kessel is. Both Daryl Sittler, myself, and Phil Kessel share that streak. 18 games. In the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs, there's been no player in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs that ever scored a point in 19 straight games. Daryl Sittler has 18, I have 18, and Phil Kessel has 18, and that's something I'm very proud of. But Patrick Kane had a scoring streak of 25 games, and I mean, our hockey people in here know just to score points in 10 or 15 games or 20 games, and think about Wayne Gretzky having a 59 or whatever point streak he has, every record in the world. But Patrick Kane ended up having a 25-game streak. But what made it so cool is the night that he was trying to tie my streak, I was flying from Newark to LAX. And on the plane, and I fly the Friendly Skies, which is United, they have DirecTV on there, and it's the greatest thing in the world for 2 reasons. One is you can get hockey on there, and 2, you can get TVG, which is the horse racing network. So it makes the time across the country pretty good. So I'm watching a game. It's 1-0 Anaheim. And 1-0 Anaheim, and Patrick Kane does not have a streak. He's at 17. He's looking to make it 18. I feel like an auctioneer. He's got 17, looking to make it 18. And I'm on the airplane. I'm watching the whole game. And Kaner's got nothing going on that night. And I'm going, man, I might still have that streak, and I might have to talk to media tomorrow, right? So the game's going, and now they're putting up this graphic, and they're talking about my buddy Ray Ferraro's doing the game, and he's tooting my horn at 37,000 feet, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, and my name's on the little monitor there at DirecTV, and Phil Kessel's, and all the other players that have had those high streaks. But of course I was on top. But anyways, so the game's going, and Kaner makes a good play in the second period. Nothing happens. So it's 1-0, and there's nothing. The third period, the Hawks got nothing. All of a sudden, Coach Q, Joel Quenneville, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, calls the timeout, and I'm like, he's going to get it. He's going to tie this thing. I'm at 37,000 feet in the air, and he's going to tie my record. So they pull the goalie. They make a quick play. Kane's got the puck on the half wall. He throws it. 45-foot pass It landed like a bird with sore feet. I mean, over 2 sticks, right on the tape of Duncan Keith, and Dunk walks right in, and I'm going, this baby's going top cheese. I know it, and Kane's going to tie my record. Sure enough, boom, bam, ties up the game, ties my record, and I'm on the airplane going just some crazy. So what made it so great was the next night I'm doing a game in LA. So there I am with my record on the line for all of the American-born players that have ever played in the National Hockey League. I'm in the building. Now, people may say, well, it's not that big of a record. But you know what? As an American guy and somebody proud that have worn our colors in the sporting venue and the Olympics and playing in 3 Canada Cups and just always been a big promoter of USA Hockey, to be there in the building to know that he had a chance to break my record. Now, and I told Kaner this too, because when he'd have a couple of good games or whatever, I go, hey, getting a little close, buddy. Here, respect your elders a little. I wouldn't mind having that record for another couple of years. So sure enough, about 6 or 7 minutes in, he's got 2 incredible chances, and I go, this streak is over for sure. Just had one of those feelings. He gets the puck at the top of the circle, skate left. This is a good one, guys. Skate left, shoot right. It works a lot of the time. Trust me. Kaner goes skate left, shoot right. He goes top shelf, and the reaction that he had was great. He looked up into the TV area where we were doing the game to show a lot of respect, and I think that's something where Patrick Kane is growing up a lot as a young man and as a hockey player. And then I had a chance to interview him right after the period. So after breaking my record, to me, I look at that as being one of those moments as a hockey guy, whether a broadcaster or having a hockey helmet on, that I would remember a long time. And then obviously he smashed the record and goes to 25 games. So something that this last year that I remember vividly. The world we live in today is that I really believe is that the true colors of someone or some team or some school or some organization is not when things are great. You could be a good guy when you're captain of the Oilers and you're getting to the Stanley Cup final and everybody's telling you how great you are, or you're a 94 Stanley Cup champion with the New York Rangers. It's easy to be a good person and a good guy and a good team when things are going well. But I've learned over the years is that the true colors of someone or some team aren't when things are great. It's when things are tough. That's when you really show what the heck you're made of. That's when your character really stands up. And we all have adversity in different levels in our life. And I think if you think about that, regardless of how young or old you may be, is that that's what makes us all special. Is that how do we handle that adversity? Do you turn? Do you turtle? Do you admit when you make mistakes? Are you willing to ask questions? So one thing I've tried to teach my kids and people that I get a chance to talk to all the time is, look, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't have an answer, tell somebody you'll get them an answer. You really want to make an impression on somebody? Don't text, don't email. Pick up a piece of paper, get a pen in hand, drop somebody a note, put a stamp on it, put it in the mailbox. You want to get to the front of the line somewhere nowadays? That's how you get to the front of the line. You want to set yourself and separate yourself from somebody, regardless of what it is. That's something that people don't do anymore. That's a way to get noticed. But I'm a big believer is that when things are tough, you really show who and what you're made of. And I know for this hockey team and this university, and I'll always be a part of this family because my son was here for 1 year, is that I know with the coaching staff and the leadership, and Simon, and the coaching staff and the trainers who are the lifeline of a hockey player. Last thing, in the elevator of life, now think about it. We all ascend to different heights. Had a lot of people along the way help me become a hockey player and now a broadcaster, and a lot of people just know me as a broadcaster. There's a guy that does TV or a guy that does NHL 17 in stores now. Sorry. Ron Burgundy tonight, I'm sorry. Lost my train of thought there. But most people know me as a broadcaster, which is fine. Or a guy that does horse racing every once in a while on NBC. But in the elevator of life, had a lot of people help me along the way. Managers, coaches, players, obviously my folks, my wife, the incredible support that I've had from her, But in the elevator of life, we all ascend to different heights. There's a lot of people that help you along the way. As you ascend, you like to think everybody's going to get to a certain level, okay? Should always shoot for the highest, regardless of what anybody tells you. Like they told me, you'll never make it in the league, and I ended up playing over 1,000 games in the NHL and playing 16 years in the league. But as you ascend, there's a lot of people that'll help you. And the way the real world is, you're going to see a lot of those same people on the way up as you do on the way down. Regardless, maybe a floor, maybe 10 floors. Look, don't forget the people that help you along the way. Don't. The world is so, you hear that, especially for our young hockey players in here. You hear that a lot, but it is. The hockey community is very small. You have incredible opportunity here at Niagara. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Control what you can control. But you think about that elevator of life. You're going to see a lot of those same people on the way up as you do on the way down, because not everybody's up here. Trust me, over the years, I've seen a lot of people. If you digest that a little bit and think about that, and when you do have those tough times and you do have that adversity, and it all comes back full circle. So again, I would like to thank Berkey for fitting me in to the face-off dinner. I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck. I offer to Niagara, I'm always here to support you guys, and when I get on my social media, which is not very often, always try to give you guys a little bit of love, and then I know tomorrow night in the game I'm doing in Chicago, I will talk about the dinner that I was so gracious to be a part of here tonight. So thank you very much for your time. Best of luck to the club. Best of luck to the university, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and supporting the program, which is great. We got a lot of great young men here, and this is obviously a great institution and university. And again, to Berkey and to Chopper and to Michael, best of luck to you guys. And if I could ever help you along the way, you got my digits. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks.
Father Maher is going to come up here in just a minute for tonight's closing remarks, and then following those remarks, I do have the winning names for the bids tonight. Great support. We appreciate that. So again, after Father Maher gives his closing remarks, I'll come back up for just a couple more announcements. We all know Father Maher, of course, an ardent supporter of Niagara University athletics, and very often spotted at the games cheering on the purple and white. Father Maher was recently named to the NCAA Division I Board of Directors, where he serves as a member of the overall governing body with guidance on strategy, policy, and management oversight of the NCAA. So there is a Purple Eagle supporter in very big, influential places. Very proud to have him here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Niagara University, Reverend James J. Maher, CM. Father Maher.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you for your commitment to Niagara Athletics and to the university. Just one recognition tonight. We have the President Emeritus of Niagara University here, Father Joseph Levesque. I offer a special thanks to Eddie Olczyk for being with us tonight. He was in Detroit last night. He's here tonight. He's in Chicago tomorrow night. What a great message, right? For young people, but for all of us. I often say to the student athletes, become a pro before you sign your first contract. Be early. Be a good person. Work hard in the classroom. And the rest will take care of itself. And what a great role model for us and for our student athletes. And I think the biggest compliment you can pay to someone who's had the success that Eddie's had in his life is he never forgot where he came from. He's a Chicago kid. He's back in Chicago. And so, Eddie, we thank you for your great contribution, and your words mean so much to us because they're so real. So thank you for your words and for your example. I congratulate Coach Burkholder on the tremendous program that he's run at the university. We've had student athletes from the team compile a 3.16 grade point average last year. Tremendous accomplishments in the classroom, outside the classroom. It's been a great program for the university. A 91% graduation success rate. Our student athletes are incredibly successful on the ice, off the ice, and in the community. We've recently unveiled a new marketing campaign, The Power of Niagara University. We've created a great video that gives you a glimpse into the incredible impact and work of the university. One example, a 2012 graduate, Sam Goodwin, one of our former hockey players from the university. Where is Sam now? Sam's in Southeast Asia, where he works for Swift Runner. Swift Runner is a social awareness tech startup with two principal activities. The first is the creation and development of Pandu Nation, an online virtual world for preteens roughly ages 8 to 12. The second is the Pandu Foundation, an Asian-based non-governmental organization that funds and leads development projects throughout the region of Southeast Asia. In the Philippines and Cambodia, successful game users are able to convert points into real-world constituents and to vet them to people in need via field projects being administered by this foundation. That's the power of Niagara University. That's what we celebrate. That's what you aim for on and off the ice. Congratulations and good luck with the season. Thank you very much.